Welcome to the Assist.org instructional video part 2, Major Exploration. Assist provides a major exploration feature called Explore Majors. It is an excellent way of looking at majors at different UCs and CSUs and other information relating to exploring of majors. Once you arrive at the Assist.org homepage, go ahead and click Explore Majors. You will see that there's a variety of options on how you can explore majors. If you know what major you have in mind, and you don't know what kind of schools have that particular major, a good place to start is the majors option. Next, you can do one of two things. You can go ahead and take a look at an area of study if you kind of know what you're looking at. You can also go ahead and put in a search key phrase under the search box. You can also choose the majors button here at the bottom if you want to see a complete alphabetical list of major names. However, for right now, let's go ahead and choose an area of study. For example, that area of study might be business and economics. That is a fairly broad area of study. The next page will allow us to narrow it down even more using a discipline. Go ahead and select the drop down, and then you will want to choose a discipline. And as you can see, there are a variety of different disciplines underneath the business and economics area of study. For the purposes of this demonstration, let's go ahead and just choose Business Administration. What you will see is a complete list of the business administration programs in the CSU or UC systems. As you can see, there's a variety of different programs with different concentrations and specialties, and is quite extensive. Some majors obviously are not going to have this large of a list of majors and schools that support this, but business happens to be a popular one, especially in the CSU system. Next, once you locate a school that you might be interested in, you can go ahead and click on that school to see what their articulation agreements are for that school, as well as some other information about the major. For example, we could look under the General Business Administration degree at CSU Sacramento. CSU Sacramento provides some language as to what kind of information they'll be sharing with the students in the business administration degree. Sometimes this is pretty broad, like it is on this one. Other times it is very brief. So it can be a good way of exploring exactly what the major has, but sometimes it isn't expansive enough to really describe what the major does. Next, you'll see a link to the campus website for this major. And you can also look up IGETC and CSU GE from this screen as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation agreement, which is a good way of doing it from this screen. Go ahead and select Diablo Valley College, or any college that you're looking at. You would want to click on Continue. And you'll notice that it brings up several of the local community colleges besides DVC. Over here on the right is the major preparation articulation agreements that we reviewed in Part 1. They are identical to what you would pull up in the Part 1 video that you can locate on the YouTube website. Once you click on Major Prep, it brings up again that same articulation agreement that we could pull up through the method of articulation agreements as discussed in Part 1 video that I did for you. Next, we can explore specific campuses. So for example, if you have always known that you wanted to go, say, to UC Davis, but you aren't sure what majors they offer there, you could click on the UC California campuses. Here it provides a nice map that shows exactly where the different UC campuses are. Go ahead and click on Davis. And as you will see, it locates for you all the different majors that UC Davis has to offer. You could click on one, for example, Psychology AB, and it brings you back to the same page that we saw before, which again describes the major as much as the school has provided, links you to the campus website, and then once again, if you'd like, you can look at the articulation agreement for Diablo Valley College or any of the other local community colleges in case we don't have a course that that particular school is looking for. You can also do the same thing for the California State University campuses. You simply click on CSU campuses. Once again, you get the handy dandy map that shows you a variety of places that you could go. And as you can see, there's a large amount of CSUs compared to UCs. You could then click on a CSU, and once again, it's going to bring up that same list of majors for that particular school. You then could go forward, click on a specific major, get provided some information about the major, and so on, as has already been demonstrated. You could also click on California Community College campuses. You would then want to select a campus. So, of course, we're going to select Diablo Valley College. Click Continue. It then again brings up the different community colleges in the area within a 20-mile radius in case we wanted to research them as well. And then we can bring up an area study, for example, history. If we'd like, we can narrow that down a little bit more by either saying history or art history. And then what it'll do is it'll bring up all the UCs that have that history major. And then if we want, we could jump to the CSU list. And again, it provides us a full list that have that major. And then we could click on the major preparation to see what that is for Diablo Valley College. Finally, if you click on course articulation, it will take you back to the home page so that you can use the Explore Transfer Information feature to look up course articulation, as was discussed in the Assist.org instructional video part 1. So as you can see, this is a very useful way of exploring the different majors that the UCs and CSUs have to offer. You might be surprised on what some of the schools have to offer or don't have to offer in some cases. And I would recommend that if you're new to the system, that you go ahead and take a look at this option and do some exploration. It's a good way of broadening the options that you have for the future.